This sounds kind of nuts, right? I mean, it's just world peace we're talking about. It's no big deal. But no, for real. How do we actually put the solution from the last video into practice? We know that emotional climate is shaped everywhere in our families and communities, through education, religion, media, and culture, through our institutions, politics, and economic systems, and in our everyday interactions. As we've talked about, people with enormous wealth, with power, platforms, and institutional control also shape it deliberately for their own benefit, not for ours, even if that's what they're telling you. They decide what they want people to fear, to desire, to distrust, to tolerate, or accept. And then they build the messaging, incentives, and systems that make those things normal. So if we want to replace fear, greed, and division with understanding, compassion, and connection, we have to use that same process intentionally and at scale. We have to make understanding, compassion, and connection visible, shared, practiced, and normal. That is what the Be In is designed to do. We create frequent and free public spaces around the world where people come to practice and experience understanding, compassion, and connection. That sounds great. Like, how are you going to do that, right? But at a Be-In, that could mean dancing. It might mean making art, sharing gratitude, playing, learning something that widens your perspective, having an honest conversation with someone you might never otherwise have met. It could mean offering kindness, listening deeply, or simply spending time in a space where people are actively choosing to connect. The activities can change. The purpose stays the same. Each Be-In creates a little pocket of the world we all want to live in. But for those experiences to have the impact we're talking about, a few things have to be true. First, Be-Ins have to be participatory and genuinely compelling. The point is not to listen to someone describe a better world or sit there dreaming of a better planet. The point is to practice living in it together. And people are not drawn into change by duty alone. The experience has to feel joyful and energizing, interesting, welcoming, alive. It has to be something people want to enter, to return to, and to carry with them. Be-ins also have to be free and non-transactional. Everyone has to be able to take part. We can't build a more connected world while excluding people who can't afford to participate. Keeping Be-ins free also makes it easier for someone to drop in, take part, and see what's happening without having to make a monetary commitment. By non-transactional, we mean nothing is being asked of you in exchange for entering the space or participating. There can be no other agenda. So there's no third-party advertising or promotion, no corporate sponsorship, no outside vendor, no outside person or organization using the space to sell something or to further its own interests. People need to know that they're being invited into connection, not marketed to or treated as a prospect or used for someone else's purposes. When people feel like they're being used, they become more cynical and skeptical and guarded. That would change what is possible between us. Be-ins also have to happen in busy public spaces. This can't be limited to people who already know to look for it. It has to happen where people already are, in parks, plazas, and other high traffic spaces. Someone might wander over because they hear music and laughter, or they see bubbles or dancing or a sign inviting them to have an uncomfortable conversation. Public spaces also bring us into contact with people we might never otherwise have met. People from different backgrounds, different communities, and life experiences whose perspectives may be very different from our own. When we encounter each other directly, we have a chance to see one another as fully human, shaped by experiences we may never have considered. It widens our perspective and it makes room for understanding. When we encounter each other directly, we have the chance to see one another as fully human, shaped by experiences we may never have considered. It widens our perspective. It makes room for understanding. Be-ins also have to happen regularly. One event can move someone for an afternoon, but when they return to everyday life, the same routines, the same pressures, the messages, their expectations that they encounter every single day, the experience can quickly fade. If we want understanding, compassion, and connection to shape how we operate as a society, not just remain values we admire as individuals, people need repeated opportunities to experience them, practice them, and see them lived out in public. Over time, these repeated experiences make it easier to carry these values into our relationships, our choices, and everyday interactions. while fear, greed, and division begin to lose a little of their hold. And be-ins have to happen all over the place. Change on the scale we are talking about requires be-ins in cities around the world. And they can't just be a collection of unrelated local events. They have to be a part of one coordinated global effort. That means creating a model people can bring to their own cities. Clear enough to preserve what makes a be-in, but flexible enough to reflect different cultures, different communities, and realities. And that means giving the people who lead them the guidance, support, and accountability they need to keep every be-in aligned with the movement's purpose and values. So a be-in Boston is not going to look like a be-in Cairo, and it shouldn't. Obviously, we're not going to get everyone in the world involved. We probably won't even reach most people, but we don't have to. Research shows that a committed minority, enough people visibly and consistently doing things differently, can change what the larger group sees as normal. So the question isn't whether everyone will join us, it's whether you will. If this is the world you want to live in, then help us build it. Come on over, join the evolution.